Hi and welcome to this week's Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Tuesday 24th, so slightly late this week, but all the same, there's plenty of stuff to get our teeth into this week. So, looking very quickly at the fundamentals first, key data out this week. There's already been some manufacturing and services PMI in Europe being released. Key vote, the court ruling, should I say, the EU membership court ruling for the Brexit, as expected, been forcing the vote in Parliament. So that will go on as expected, pretty much. No one was too shocked at that, although it did create a blip this morning on the pound. Looking beyond that and looking for this week, most important figures coming out of the GDP numbers, the advanced or prelim GDP numbers coming out on Thursday and Friday for the UK and US respectively. UK figure coming at 9:30 on Thursday and 1:30 on Friday for the US. Side of that, core durable goods on Friday for the US can create a bit of volatility. It's not a major mover. I think that the fact that Trump is still talking, the meeting with Trump and May on Friday may create some volatility in the markets. No play on words there. Certainly a potential, but aside of that, there's very little else this week. And as we move into Friday, it starts the spring holiday for China. So they're off on Friday and at least next week and maybe more. I can't remember, it's 1 week or two, but they're certainly closed for a week. So as of Friday, so that may slow a bit of the overnight volume through. We'll see whether that continues or not. Side of that, as I said, there's little out that's causes any significant movement. So let's look at the fundamentals. Okay, euro dollar, and well, we this morning ran into the weekly 21 there. Now it's interesting to see if we get a bit more reaction from this on the shorter time frames. Well, it's not really been pushing up a mega rate or a particularly strong rate here. It did put a pivot swing in a couple of days back. It's pushed up from that yesterday, and well, it looks like it may want to get through and push up further towards the monthly R1, the daily 100. If we see this actual reaction to this 21 more greater, the weekly 21 greater, well, then I would expect it to come back to the weekly pivot, maybe back even to the monthly pivot. If we go back a moment to that, we have chopped through that a number of times, and it's been chopped up. So it'll be interesting, as I said, to see what reaction we get there. Maybe just an intraday blip, but any push through of that, I remain on the more bullish side, but I am very aware of that 21 weekly, so it may just slow things down for now at least. So looking at the pound dollar and coming to the bigger picture first, and well, we come up short of the weekly 21 at the moment. Now again, that has been tested, so it was a target for my swing long. Hanging in there, it's still got some potential. It's just looking a little bit softer at the moment. Now, today, well, it started, and yesterday, should I say, we shoved up nicely back into that daily 100, which is having a bit more of a reaction than it often does. And we've seen it just pip up this morning and then sell off so far. Now, again, there is potential, and I'm watching this carefully to see if it just totally follows the euro sort of pattern and rolls over a little more here. Again, there is, the reason I say there's potential for a bit more rollover, there is a weekly pivot untouched below. And generally, in the earlier part of the week, we tend to see those hit. So watching that carefully to see if this is a change of direction or just a retracement within a bigger move to the upside. Certainly would like to think it's a bigger move to the upside with the higher low put in recently. We'll see, and higher high, but today may show us the hand for the rest of the week there. As I say, there is some key data out there. Dollar yen, well, the dollar yen's continued its slide this week. Last week it was an uncertain market in a sense. It's left that spinning top stroke doji there, didn't get back to the weekly 21, so it's made a bit of progress, but still got the potential to do so. At the moment, there's a bit of divergence going on the dailies here, and I do wonder if we'll get a bit more of a bounce. But any break of these lows here in the next day or so, well, would be heading back down towards the S2 and maybe more. And as I said, the figure really I'm looking for is if it can break right away down towards the 21 there, which is quite a way off at the moment. Okay, dollar yen, Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar's had quite a recovery of late. It's pulled back within its prior range that it sat for some time. It shouldn't be ignored, this range. It seems to have quite an effect on it. It never managed to get above that sort of, or too much. What did it get up to in the end? 770, but looking at 78 as a sort of a round number above there, which may well contain it. At the moment, it's above its weekly 21. It's still looking like it could chip on that up there. In the shorter daily time frame, well, there's been divergences running across the highs here at different time, and in the intermediate time frames, has got a weekly pivot below, which I'm wondering whether we'll see a move down towards that in the next day or so. It certainly looks possible at the moment. It to me looks like there's some shorter time frames. It might just come back. Hasn't even come back to the daily 8 for a long time. So at the moment, as I say, with the divergence there, it looks a bit bearish. Finally, Canadian dollar. Well, it didn't last very long outside of my trend break of trend there. Didn't last too long out. The line came back in, pushing back towards its average sort of data at the moment. On the weeklies there, dailies, well, the pivot swing in looks bearish, but this morning again it's pushed up again. There was some divergence at the lows last week, which started this upward move, and it's well continued. At the moment, if this doesn't push on too far, any break above that daily 50, maybe monthly pivot, would see me looking to get a bit more bullish back for those previous highs there. Part of the play on this, of course, is oil. To watch, I mean, we should have been seeing a bit more of a gain, maybe at times, in Canadian dollar, but it hasn't really played too much to that side. Well, oil's staying in quite a tightish range at the moment, so that's not really affected it so much. But Canadian dollar, all on its own, is starting to look at rather weak, and as I say, we could continue pushing up there. I will briefly look at so a quick look at the S&Ps. Take a picture from a weekly perspective. We're sitting there all chopping around, still sitting up there. There's plenty of bearish looking candles there, dojis, and sitting up there. I do wonder if we will see some sort of correction at some point, a bit more of a correction on this back at least to the monthly pivot, maybe further. But at the moment, it's hanging in there effectively. The market's unsure where to go. And finally, it's a quick look of gold. So gold made quite a bit of a recovery back to its weekly 21 here again. And again, I'm sort of looking at this. It did react to it last week, had a bit of a retracement from it. It's pushed up again and retested it. And I'm wondering, having seen it hit before, whether it will continue to push up. There is that uncertainty with it throughout the world here, and it's probably pushing this gold price up even further. But we'll see. There is divergence where we sit here on the dailies. Weekly pivot not quite yet hit, so looks like there's potential for that yet to still be hit over the next day or two. If it continues breaking through this daily 8, got to be a bit more bearish, back maybe to the 21 and beyond, back maybe to that 50, which is still, I mean, if you look at the bigger trend here, it's certainly mostly south, but that daily 50 just starting to come around, which may provide support if it does break down in that direction. Okay, as I said, not massive news this week. We have to watch and see if these markets, if we're going to see any more dollar weakness at the moment. As I said, the dollar index is holding its own. If I just bring that into play as we're looking here daily, it has eased off somewhat which was not surprising, bearing in mind how strong the dollar's been. Um, but holding its own at the moment, and there is a divergence there as well, which bearing in mind it's an inverted euro, not a massive surprise. Okay, have a great week. I'll be back next week. Bye.